Yeah. Shout out to Shirley with the strawberry letter. Raglan Hub and Nesto.
Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification button so you don't miss any of my videos. This is part 3 of As the Rico Turns. My videos on Ebony Steele and her relationship with Nesto Dog Williams, who was married to Shirley Strawberry, Steve Harvey's co-host of the Steve Harvey Morning Show. I found a podcast that could support some of the allegations that we heard on these phone calls between Nesto, Deon, and Dre. Most of us knew of Ebony Steele from the Ricky Smiley Morning Show and from his reality show. I knew of her from the reality show. I didn't listen to Ricky Smiley like that. In the mornings, I listened to more local radio. But some of us were only introduced to her by way of Ernesto Dog Williams jail calls. As y'all know, I react to and follow the life and times of Ernesto Williams behind bars. But on these calls, Ernesto and his son and friend talk trash about Ebony Steele. And there are, reports out there that Ebony dated Nesto right before he got with Shirley. So her name has been thrown in the mix, and she's become an interesting quote-unquote character throughout this time that Nesto has been locked up. We know that Nesto sought entrepreneurial women. He sought women that were close to celebrities. He sought God-fearing women. And he sought overall nice women. Ebony, all this checks out with Ebony. In my research of her career and the type of person that she is, all this checks out. So Ebony had been working with Ricky Smiley for years before she met Nesto. And after dating Nesto for a couple years, all of a sudden, Ebony Steele gets fired. There are many reports all over Lipstick Alley everywhere as to why she got fired, but we don't know the real reason, only rumors. I've maybe covered Claudia Jordan in a couple videos in my Fox Soul playlist, but when Claudia Jordan took over Ebony Steele's job at the Ricky Smiley Morning Show, and I guess Dish Nation, you would think she would have, Ebony would have been mean, catty, disrespectful to Claudia, but it looks like she stood up for her in a time when the fans, the viewers, were maybe trashing or bashing Claudia because Ebony wasn't on the radio anymore, their favorite, radio host. I'm quite sure Claudia Jordan asked her to step in and help her, combat all the angry fans, but I just think it speaks to Ebony's character. And plus, you don't want to get a bad name in the business. But anyway, if you want to pause or replay to read the messages around that time, you can.
Ebony Steele, I'm here with my girl Cynthia Bailey at her Christmas party, and everybody is playing. You friends with that bitch? I just hate her. Oh my God, there she is, that bitch.
So in researching Ebony Steele and what she's been up to lately, I did find a podcast that she did 2 years ago. And on that podcast, you learn a lot more about her. And it leads me to believe that maybe some of the things Nesto and Deon were saying about her were true. But at the same time, that doesn't diminish the woman that she is, and the accolades and the achievements that she has. And her struggles could be a factor in why she made some of the decisions she made when dealing with Nesto. I think we can get a lot from the parts I included here. The link will be in the description box for the full podcast episode.
You know, I've always asked, even when I started radio almost 20 years ago, I asked him, what is my purpose? Because I started in Birmingham, Alabama. And then when I got the call to go to Dallas to be on a nationally syndicated show, got to realize I was being heard, 1 month in one city, and within the next year, over 80 cities at one time. Lord, what is my purpose? Well, he showed me all right. 1 in 8 women will get breast cancer in their lifetime, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer. But I realized, okay, got to be careful what you ask for. But I realized my purpose at that time was to be that person, for not just for Black women, but for all women. If I can still hear her on the radio every day or see her still move about, then maybe that diagnosis isn't so bad. It gives me the strength and the courage to move on. And I hope that that's what the 16 years of me having and still being, cancer free, having that diagnosis. But most recently, my struggle in the past few years, I've found that things that I've wanted to happen, things in my career, people have asked, where's Ebony? What's going on with her? And there was an incident that began to kind of shake and rock my world about 10 years ago. And I really started addressing it about 2 or 3 years ago, as far as me and alcohol. And it came to me that, and I realized, because I've tried to go so many ways around it, I'm a better person when I am sober. So for the year 2024, I have made a vow to every day wake up and say, and every day not drink. And the reason I do it like that is because I said, I'm never going to drink again, ever in my life. Well, I can't say that, because if somebody was standing right here and, was going to take the life of my sister and said, hey, you got to have a drink before you, or else I'm going to have a drink. I know that's far-fetched, but I try to give myself realistic expectations. Right. And I know that if I can, for the next 24 hours, say I'm not going to drink, then that says something.
So this was recorded 2 years ago, 2024. She said basically alcohol and maybe other substances had taken over her life in the past 10 years. So what year does that put us at, y'all? 2014. What year did she get fired from the Ricky Smiley Morning Show? 2014. How long has she been dating Nesto prior to getting fired? A couple years. So she's saying, maybe the last 10 years. It's likely that she was, battling an addiction when she was with Nesto. Hence the decision making, the decisions that she made. I'm sorry. But let's continue to listen.
The past 2 years, I've really, really worked at it. I've had some good dry runs.
A lot more doable.
Right. Very, very much so. Some dry runs. And
yes. Amen.
I've actually gone away 2 times to try to work on this matter for myself. And you may say, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal was a couple of broken fingers, a collarbone that was broken, eye socket falling down, missing cell phones, not remembering where my wallet is, not remembering. Dr. Tiffany, right now, I know that one of the most prideful, or one of the things I'll hold dear, is even in this moment right now talking to you. So I'm talking about times where I have had been to my sister's wedding or been to a friend's baby shower and may not have much memory of it because of the fact that I was either in 3 states all the time, about to drink, in the midst of being tipsy or intoxicated, or coming out of it. And for those that don't know, alcohol stays in your system about 72 hours, 3 days. So even if I'm clear and clean for 2 days, I'm still not 100% ever, because I'm still going in this revolving circle and cycle. And I'm a better Ebony when I'm sober.
What was it for you that was kind of like last straw? I cannot live like this anymore.
What was the last straw for me? There were a lot of them. So there were straws. There's been many along the way. One that resonates, I think, for sure, is not the memory, not remembering things. Now, mind you, I'm a 16-year breast cancer survivor, so I went through chemotherapy, and they have something that they call chemo brain, and that's when you don't remember a lot of things. You're kind of,
a lot of fog.
So that even exists with me. I have a little fog, and and I have to take something for that to just to work on my memory. Well, then you add on top of that, alcohol that we know. Oh my God, what happened last night? So, remembering things that I need to remember and forgetting things that I need to forget, but also in my relationships with people.
Let's talk about that. Like, how did alcohol impact how you related to people, whether that be personal relationships or even working relationships? How do you think alcohol impacted your relationships?
When under the influence of alcohol, or I call it when I'm in heavy addiction or active addiction, antsy, you're very agitated and you're aggravated because everything around you is interrupting what you really want to be doing. And that's drinking. Doing morning radio, I was a person that went in at 5:30. The radio show is, starts at 6. We're clear by 10:30. So if you meet somebody for lunch and you have a drink, and it's 11:12, you sit there to 3 o'clock, you go home, maybe do what you got to do, check your emails, check your mail, do a little work, and you have an event that you have to be at that evening that's at 7, and then you're drinking again. It's just this revolving cycle. And
more alcohol than water or coffee or anything.
Absolutely. With alcohol, I just tried one day, and I kept a notebook of how many times alcohol was brought into the forefront or placed in front of me in a single day. And I think that it came out that number to be 23. Every movie that I watched had a scene where someone was going to a bar. Even if I'm watching TV, there's a commercial where they're showing the Real Housewives and they're sitting having wine. Once again, this is Ebony Steele's choice, no one else. And let me say that if I could drink like everyone else and have a good time and still be sane and still not say things that maybe insult people and still have a memory, then I probably would continue to do it. It is like a death. It's a changing of something. I'll always remember when I turned 16 and got a car. I'll always remember when I graduated high school. I'll always remember when I graduated college. I'll remember when I got married. I'll remember when I got divorced. And I'll remember when I quit drinking alcohol. It's major if it's something that you do. Anyway, back to the 23 times that I was saying that, in a single day. It's on every TV commercial. It's going to be a beer commercial. If you're driving down the street, you're going to see restaurants that have, happy hour.
I was watching The Young and the Restless the other day, and which is like, I've just watched it all my life, but someone came in the room, and as soon as they walked into the house, they made a beeline for the bar, got their scotch, no ice, no nothing, and knocked it back because they had had a hard day. And my husband was in the room when I was watching it. I was like, who does that? Who walks into the house? And the first thing, she hadn't even put her coat down.
Right.
She threw her cell phone on the couch. And she's like, oh, I need a drink. I'm like, what a life.
And it's something.
Yeah.
We do it to celebrate. We drink to celebrate. We drink. So that means we drink when we're happy, right? We drink when we're sad to feel better. We drink when we're bored. Yeah. If it's a birthday, if it's a weekend, and so after, a certain amount of time, and alcohol affects different people in different ways. Some people are like a happy drunk. Some people are just quiet. Some people are mean. I get very aggressive, very assertive. If it's a conversation, I may not be talking like that, but it's listen to me. It's about me. And it's not until sometimes that you look back at videos of yourself or people tell a story, you don't remember it. And you're like, wow. Dr. Tiffany, another thing that I also realized in looking at people around me, there are some relationships, romantic relationships, where the only thing that people have in common, I'm guilty of it, is the fact that we drank. We met at a club, a party, or a bar, or a restaurant, had a drink, one another one, yes. Hey, We want to meet up tomorrow? Yeah, why don't we have lunch? Then we have lunch and then have drinks then. Then we may have dinner that week. And it's just almost like, without even thinking about it, the pattern of such said relationship, and this happens even with people that smoke weed too, you know?
Right.
And they realize, or you realize, if you take this away, what do we really have in common?
Well, I'm trying to figure out if her and Nesto were together. How did they make it when Nesto don't smoke, drink, do drugs, or nothing? What did they have in common? Ah, the love of God and being an entrepreneur. I got it.
If we went to McDonald's where there was no bar, or went to, I was going to say Cracker Barrel, but Cracker Barrel has alcohol now. But
Do they?
Yeah, you can get mimosas, you can get, right. So it's
With my fried chicken. Okay.
yeah. And there is nothing, I have nothing against it at all. I want to make that clear, because before I decided to remove alcohol, one thing I could not stand is a goody two shoes that doesn't drink, that looks down on other people that do, you know. But this is just for Ebony, and I've been told that my testimony and my ministry is for girls or women that want to stop. I feel that I can be there and be a voice, and I want to see God. I want people to see God work in me. I'm almost calling this the Watch This Project, because if anybody knows me or knows that I've been the life of the party, always a fun time, always going to laugh, going to have a good time, but didn't have my first drink till 26, interestingly enough. I was a designated driver always in college, but in this little last window of time, a lot of the bad things or things that I wish would have turned out a different way in my life, alcohol has been involved.
So is it a stretch to say that she was dibbling and dabbling in a little drugs and possibly the voodoo? I don't think so. And her not being completely honest says a lot. Hopefully it doesn't, but it does. She almost sounds like, she doesn't really sound like Karen Huger from Real Housewives of Potomac. She does acknowledge that she had a problem, but she does acknowledge that it's an everyday struggle. So she probably still drink. Hopefully, it's more controlled. But it isn't very realistic to say, you're never going to touch alcohol or touch drugs again when you have an addiction. So to an extent, she's being honest, but she may be leaving some stuff out. Dishonesty by omission.
Alcohol has been involved. So you recognize that the pattern of some of the more negative aspects, more negative endings to things or relationships or whatever, alcohol was somewhere around there lurking, making its presence.
Okay, so that explains a lot. She didn't start drinking until she was 26, so that means she started, as an adult, and she was more than likely chugging them back when she was with Nesto. And when you're drinking like that, you do not make sound decisions. I don't know if this podcast got views anywhere else, but I only got 57 views here. So this may not be, well known that in about the last 2 years prior to 2024, so 2022, 2023, she decided to try to stop drinking and went away to rehab twice. He went away to rehab twice. 2 times. And it got pretty bad. If you were falling out, and on that video with the makeup, she mentioned eye twitching because of it was hereditary. No, ma'am, you knocked your eye socket out of place or something. So even there, she's not being truthful. So that's a problem in itself. But prayers out to Ebony Steele. Addiction is no joke. And when you are drinking heavily, you do not make sound decisions, especially in the men department.
I didn't focus on things like that. I'm always playing catch up with stuff I didn't do the day before. So I need to do this. And it's agitation. It's not, when they say stop and smell the roses, I guess I'm stopping and watching the red bird. I didn't take out time to do things like that. I actually want to be present. When I was in active addiction, even when I wake up in the morning, okay, I've got to do this at 1 o'clock. I've got to be somewhere else at 5:30, and I've got to be somewhere else at 8 p.m. But I'm scheduling when I can drink in between. So, okay, I know at this 1 o'clock, this first appointment, they're going to be into me. They're going to be really paying attention. So I can't drink before that one because they're going to be able to tell. The second one is kind of, oh, they cool, casual. Okay, so I can have a drink before that one. The 8 o'clock one, I'm going to have to be on my. So I would I knew what spot was, what happy hour was close to this spot. Okay, so I can go by Harold's. Okay, have a drink there. Then such and such. And anything that messes up that schedule pisses you off. You're upset. You're mad because this is what you think or what I thought that I needed to continue to go on. And then you feel like, I fooled him again today. So you stop by the bar, or I did at the end of the night, to have another drink. That's my nightcap for the morning. Then in the morning, I'm praying that I'm not sick and not throwing up. And then heaven forbid, if I have to do something like this, I already have a full face. So then there's times I'm on TV like, from, being bloated.
Puffy, yeah.
So there were so many things, and I could even tell when my mother didn't get to see me sober. I want my father to see me sober. And when people know you, like my sister and my father, they can just look and tell. They can look and tell. They can look and tell if my eyes are red like they are now from my allergies, or if my eyes are red from being tipsy.
Right. Well, I want to share something with you that just came to me.
Please.
Just in the last moment in what you said, and I truly believe this with all of my heart, Ebony. Oh God.
Are you going to make me cry?
My God. The thought of what I'm getting ready to say is making me cry. I just want you to know that every time you see that red bird, your mom has seen you sober.
Praise God.
That is your mom. And she sees you. And she sees what you're doing. She knows how hard it is. And that is her affirming for you that she sees you. She's proud of you. And you keep going on those walks and you keep looking for the red bird. And every time you do it, you need to stick your chest out and let her know, Mom, you see me and I'm sober.
There was a reference to Ebony seeing a red bird when she would take walks. I didn't play the whole podcast, but I'll link it here if you want to listen to the whole thing. But there's a good bit of it here.
Thank you.
Because she does.
That just gave me chills. It means the world to me. And thank you for allowing me to come into your house, your home, your place, and think it not robbery for me to share my story that people would even care or want to hear. And I want people to know, or women to know, young girls, 95% of rapes on campuses have to do with alcohol. And I want to be that voice. It's going to be here. It's going to exist. If there's a way maybe that I can be able to do it, I'm not lying, without having to suffer consequences later.
Yeah.
People think I'm not gonna, I don't want Ebony to go to the bar because it's going to tempt her. It's not like that. It doesn't tempt you from being around it. For me, I think of the consequences of, how much I had to pay a lawyer for a DUI, how much I had to pay for this and that. There's so many things. I actually added up at the peak of when I was making a lot more money than I'm making now. When I was in a really, really blessed place and I blew it. It is amazing how much a month that I spent, not just on eating out. Well, eating out comes along with it. It's just amazing. When you find yourself eating out or drinking and you're...
I'm not going to ask you how much it... I'm not going to ask you how much it was. I'm not going to ask you how much it was. But I am going to ask you, what could you have bought with that money?
I could have probably paid my car note 3 times. per month.
Good Lord, that's a lot of money.
Don't forget, and then I'm social with it too. You know what I mean? Hey, get her one. Hey, because you don't want to do it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
No.
Yeah, so there are times I feel, for sure, easily.
I'm glad you're on this side of it. I'm glad you're on this side of it. I'm glad you're able to talk about it. I'm glad you're able to share about it, and again, inspire others with everything that you've been through. I think that you're blessing people just by being here.
So y'all, here's a little bit of what Ebony is up to now. You can tell that she's been set back by the alcoholism career-wise and probably personally as well. But I thought she deserved a little more attention and a little more sensitivity versus what Nesto and Deon and Dre were talking about in these phone calls. And I'll include some of the bits of the phone call at the end, even though it's in part 1 and part 2 of the series. But I'll just attach those to the end for y'all for your listening pleasure. But go back and watch the other 2 videos. But yeah, Ebony Steele is a very interesting character. She's probably been done wrong a lot in her career and life. But she's still standing and she's able to tell the stories.
All right. Hey, what's up? It's your favorite girlfriend, Ebony Steele, and I have the Steele Standing podcast. But when I have people join me, it makes it just a little more interesting. So I am joined by a couple of the network cohorts. I want to welcome Angelica Robles. Hey there, lady.
How are you?
Very good. We're going to have Ed and the Felon. So the 2 of them, that's going to be very interesting.
And you got the girl, Ebony, too. They don't went back to her story, too. What? They don't went all the way back. They don't went all the way back to the 3-wheeler, to how you fraud her out of there, they got her talking about that you took money from her dead, the Social Security. I'm like, God damn, this shit is ugly. Hold on. What? And that's bullshit, though. The 3-wheeler, the whatever that is, they got that. Now, this is the people, they ain't saying Ebony saying it, but the people that went back getting these stories, they were saying, they were saying that this one out of 10,000 for the 3-wheeler. They stole money from her sick daddy when you were dealing with her. Stole money from her sick daddy. All stuff. This shit is ugly. Man, why didn't they tell about the voodoo that she had? Right. This shit is ugly. Okay. But he didn't get that. She tried to warn Shirley before you left, dumped her, and when you used her before you went to her, she tried to. That shit is ugly. But guess what?
So Nesto dumped Ebony, okay, after he had been with her for years. He coincidentally dumped her after she got fired from the Ricky Smiley show.
Apologize for that shit too, though. She sure did. Apologize. Shirley.
Now, she apologized according to who? Did you hear her apologize, Nesto? I mean, Deon, did you hear Ebony apologize to Nesto, or did Nesto tell you that? Boy, he will fight tooth and nail for his deity.
Before you left, dumped her, and when you used her, before you went to her, she tried to. That shit is ugly.
When you used her.
Guess what? She apologized for that shit too, though. She sure did. She apologized. She came and apologized. For making that allegation. She sure did. I don't know it all, but I know some shit, though. Yeah. Right. She did. I told him he shouldn't have fucked with her though. I said that shit. I said she gonna fuck around and be jealous of you goddamn leveling up. But who the hell gonna listen to somebody that be doing drugs? They ain't talking about that part. They didn't never bring that part up.
If Ebony apologized, this was why. Because Deon's bringing up drugs. Dre's about to bring up the wild parties. So we know Nesto has a history of trying to hold stuff over people's head or have something to embarrass them or try to, catch them in a situation where that he can always have something over their head, just like the recording of his daughter, just like recording everything. So he can always have something over their head when they try to call him out or when they want their money back. So he got his son in on it too. If Ebony ever apologized, it's because Nesto threatened to tell all her business.
About all them wild parties and stuff that she told me when you were trying to help her, they didn't mention that.
No, they didn't mention none of that.
So that's, they heard all this stuff from Nesto. And they speaking like they were there. So why Ebony got to be on drugs because Nesto locked up? Why you think they didn't mention it?
He tried to save himself and she was strung out on the floor and all that. They didn't say nothing talking about that part. They didn't never bring that part up about all them wild parties and stuff that she told me when you were trying to help her. They didn't mention that.
No, they didn't mention none of that.
How you tried to save himself and she was strung out on the floor and all that. They didn't say none of that.
So is Ebony surviving after Nesto and Ricky Smiley? Drop down in the comments and let me know what y'all think. I tried to provide some updates on her social media pages. She's still an entrepreneur doing, what she does. So she ain't stopped. She's had some, medical challenges, including, alcoholism and I don't know what else. But looks like she's still, doing her thing to the best of her ability. So thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And drop down what you heard about why she left Ricky Smiley. Another story I heard was that her contract was up and she didn't know it, but Ricky knew it and he didn't tell her or didn't do anything about them, deciding to let her go. So let me know what y'all heard. Bye.